Hello everyone and welcome to another Warleader PvP video. Today I'm showing you even more 1 vs 1s from update 5.2, Rise of Isengard. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. Alright, now the first up is Ratslayer Ministrel. Now this fight occurred literally within 5 minutes of me recording the Defiler Roundtable. So I was really not into this fight. He came on, or had a friend come on, I can't remember right now, and they just went, "Oh, he really wants to fight you." I was just like, okay, fine, I'll give him the fight, whatever, but
okay.
I wasn't really that worried about it. Yeah, so you can hear the other people in the background in Skype. You don't hear my responses, but those are actually
one way or the other,
itself.
or...
But, this whole fight, basically, I came at it in Brawler stance. He said he wasn't going to heal except for one attack that causes a hot. And so I just said, okay, I'll go in Brawler stance, I'll fire off all my stuff, whatever, and just see how it goes. And I wasn't so interested in actually making the fight last.
Can you put down your banner, or is that not allowed? Okay.
Also notice he does have the outnumbered buff, so once again, fighting guys with the outnumbered buff really is a bad idea, especially Minstrels. Now if I was taking this fight more seriously, I would have just started off in Commander stance and just survived until I ran out of power, and like you've seen me do in other videos and such. Instead I did do it with Brawler stance for quite a bit. I switched over Commander stance at about half health a bit earlier, but even then it wasn't nearly as much as I needed. So there we go. Okay, and now here's Irinian. Now Irinian is interesting for me because this is a Guardian that I almost beat back in Mirkwood, but I lost my fight because I got afflicted with the Warleader bug stage 1, where I could no longer fire off any abilities. They just circled around and queued up and nothing worked. And so I had run him out of power. I was in the middle of finishing him off, and then that happened. Now he has decided to move the fight, apparently, but I think that might have been to get out of bitter terror. Yes, it was. So that was a good move on his part, but this is definitely a rematch I've been wanting to have for quite some time, and I intend to show him that I'm going to take his head off. Alright, now, as you notice there, movement, I do seem to be slightly ahead in terms of movement, but not by a whole lot. I was on his back a little bit, but because of variable movement speeds, he managed to actually get a little bit past me for a second or two and actually get attacks off of my back. That's just a problem with fighting Guardians, because they do naturally move faster than a Warleader does if they've traded for the extra 5% movement speed. And notice I am using standard Guardian fighting tactics, which is tank up in Commander stance and heal through their damage, run them out of power, and then go for it. Now, Irinian does not hit as hard as Hearshot does, or did in that other fight. So as you can see, this is actually working properly, and it definitely works a whole lot better when they don't hit quite as hard, and when you have cooldowns to use. Because that's right, I am rank 9 now. And so I've got all 4 heals that I will ever have, and that does make a huge difference in terms of my actual power as a character. Irinian is out of power basically, so the fight is turned back towards my favor. Pretty soon here I should be going towards Brawler stance and seeing about putting a lot more damage on. Now Clay is back there, and fortunately Clay is not doing anything. I believe I did name my banner to Soloing Don't Interrupt, so that's probably helping out quite a bit with keeping people from interfering in this particular match. And it does help a lot when you can do that. Alright, there I went ahead and used Quitters Never Win. I am in Brawler stance, but I just wanted to pop myself all the way back up and gain some extra power. But I saw that he hit the power pot, so I go right back to Commander stance, don't delay there, and just turtle up again. I'm going to just whittle away his power pool, or let him whittle it away for me while I keep myself alive, and not really worry too much about it. Taking down over 50% of his health, so I'm not super worried. Now he has turned on Pledge. I'm just firing off a shot there. I believe I will be stopping and trying to go for some heals here in just a second, instead of wasting time with Pledge. Yes, I stopped, inducted the heal because I knew Pledge was up, and now I go ahead and attack. More often than not, I will actually turn off auto attacks when they have Pledge up, but because of the way we moved there and the way I was firing off heals, and because I kept firing off shots, which should have turned it back on anyway, really didn't make any difference and wouldn't have been worth it for me to keep hitting that button. So it worked out okay for me. And his use of Pledge was basically gained him nothing. Isn't being a Warleader awesome? They use Pledge and you just hit them with tactical attacks. If only we had a class that was fully devoted to tactical attacks like the Free Peoples with fully 1/3 of their classes. Oh well. Can't have everything. Get a Grip just came back off cooldown. Don't remember if I used that earlier in the fight or not. I think I did. But that is ready to go again if I need it. And he is down to 3,000 and has used up almost all of his cooldowns. So I don't expect to see any major healing or anything like that coming out of him right now. So I should have this wrapped up in another minute or two. Also, Banner of Terror is coming close to being off cooldown, so that will also help me out quite a bit. It just gained a ton of power. Looks like I'm going to have to use Grip here as soon as I can, so I am kiting around, waiting until I get enough power to actually use Grip. I need about 240 or so. I should be hitting that off very shortly. There we go. Up 4,000, so I'm still staying alive right now. His health is very low, but power management is an issue. Still, I'm just seconds away from having my power pot off cooldown, and as soon as that's back, okay, then I'll be good. But I just got mezzed right there. That means there is a Burglar in the fight. I've got the Burglar debuff. I realize this. I'm not sure if Ivaneus does, but this Burglar, there he goes. He's attacking. It's Fiddleleaf. Fiddleleaf has a grudge against me. He hates me. Ivaneus backs off as soon as he finally realizes that the Burg is interfering, and that's the end of that. So that fight was interrupted. Come down here, and here is a Hunter, and there is a Burglar nearby as well. Just got stunned by that Burglar, but he did not seem to drop out. He's just dropping a bunch of debuffs. I should be potting dust in the eyes right now, or dirt in the eyes, with a wound pot, but I'm not. It is Zuhi, it is not Fiddleleaf this time. We'll go ahead and drop Banner of Terror here. And I'm going to stay in Baller Stance. I'm going to get on this Hunter, and I'm going to do my best to kill him. Go ahead and switch over to R of Command, because this is a burst fight right now, and I need all the damage I can get. Got to make sure that I keep the Baller Stance quick fighting a fight, firing off every chance that I get. It's the only way I'm going to be able to survive this, or get one kill out of the two. Also notice I have popped both of my big cooldowns, so my big heals are currently already used, but this Hunter is getting pretty close to being dead, and so if I can just stay alive a little bit longer, I will have the Hunter, but the Burglar will probably be able to finish me off if he sticks around. And also, I'm very close to the res, so he could potentially come right back and finish me off. Zuhi appears to just be standing there, not totally sure what he's doing. I decide I want to get out of dodge while I can, because that Hunter could come right back from the res, and Zuhi is still at full health. So I get away, I come up the hill here, and Ivaneus wants his rematch. Now notice, Banner Terror is on cooldown, Get a Grip is on cooldown, Quitters Never Win is on cooldown. So that's a disadvantage for me starting this fight, because Ivaneus is back at full power, whereas I just used all those up in that small skirmish right there. But still, I'm okay with fighting him, and ideally I shouldn't have to rely on those to be able to fight Ivaneus and survive. But there is one other thing going on right now, and that is that in the background right now, as I'm fighting these fights, I am downloading Star Wars: The Old Republic, and well, that is taking up quite a bit of processing power on my system. And it's not really affecting me right now, but every time it comes for a disk change, because I'm downloading it off of a disk, that is going to bite me. And unfortunately, that's going to happen a bit later in this fight, and that is going to be a problem. But so far, so good. As you can can see, even though my cooldowns are still missing, I'm still holding my own just fine against Irinian. I did have to use Grip as soon as it came back off, but I'm okay. Whittling away at his power pool, Pledge just came up there. I do not seem to notice that, or at least I'm just inducting off heals instead of making any actual attacks. Went into defensive aura right there. I'm just trying to survive as much damage as I can. That's why I'm in defensive aura right now. Apparently I did not notice the Pledge not turn off auto attacks as I should have, so that allowed him to get off that stun there and do other things. So that was a mistake on my part. Still just trying to stay alive. Missed with my menacing roar there, but got lucky with that crit right there. That is definitely going to keep me in this fight a bit longer. And I need to be inducting off a lot more heals. His power pool is dwindling now, and he's used a lot of cooldowns and stuff already, trying to keep his power pool up, and I've managed to weather that for the most part, so if I can just survive a bit longer, I will be okay. Also, because I am in commander stance, I am getting very close to bringing quitters off cooldown here. Each time I'm firing off a heal, that is 10 seconds closer to having quitters back, and that is not something to be ignored, because as soon as that comes back, and I get it off, that's going to be a big boost. Now Irinian runs away. Now at this point, this is when I am out of game doing a CD change and stuff with Star Wars The Old Republic. I come back, I start healing, and then Irinian comes right back in, and, well, I hadn't done anything there. I stood there still for multiple seconds, only got off one heal, and he kills me because of that, and because he regenerated a bit. If I had been healing that entire time, would have been a different story. Should have been able to take him. Now, here I am just healing away, and this is just to show you the power of actually using heals every chance you get to bring quitters never win off cooldown. It just works fantastically. And whenever you have downtime as a Warleader and you have this ability, and of course commander stance to go with it, go ahead and just stand around and induct off these heals, because if you're out of combat, you're not going to really do anything to your power pool. And getting your big cooldowns back is just a fantastic boon and something that really shouldn't be missed. So, didn't get to kill Irinian there. The one fight was interrupted. The other one, I did start off on the back foot there and had one other thing distracting me. I could have potentially finished it off otherwise. Would have been pretty tough to weather his attack when he came back, but I would have gotten off at least 3 more heals before he came back, which definitely would have altered the dynamic of that second rush of his quite a bit. So really, the Burglar lost me the one fight, and the choice to run Star Wars into Alt-Tab and such at that particular moment lost me the second one. I thought he had run away entirely. He had not, and so I ate it. Well, that's all for this time. Good luck and have fun out there. Ugmog is out.